Yes, student, good morning. Here myself, TPS Tiwari, and we'll continue with the same subject, that is OC, Organization of Commerce. We'll continue with the second chapter, that is Business Service 1. So let's start with the same. This is your new chapter, that is Business Service 1. We'll study inside same insurance, postal services, godown and warehouses, transportation services. So let's see the glance point. This is the glance point which you will cover in this chapter. Insurance, meaning of insurance, principle of insurance, type of insurance, privatization of insurance, Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority, IRDA. So this is the insurance point what we will study in this chapter. Then postal services, we are there in the glance point only. Then we will discuss postal service, that is general postal letter, register post, parcel service, speed post parcel, express service, saving service, recurring deposit, term deposit, National Saving Certificate, Kisan Vikas Patra, Public Provident Fund, Postal Insurance, Monthly Income Scheme, Money Order, other related services. Then 2.3, Godown Warehouse meaning, Godown warehouse types. Then 2.4, Transportation Service meaning, transportation service types. So children, whatever I have reflected about insurance, postal services, godown warehouses, transportation services, in series we will learn everything, but today's topic is meaning and principle of insurance. 2.1.1 meaning, 2.1.2 principle. Fine. So let's start this answer in detail. This is your meaning of insurance. 2.1.1. Let's discuss. It is a written agreement between insuree and insurer which promises to pay the pre-decided amount according to the pre-decided calculation, a compensation against a pre-decided amount of premium in the event of pre-decided losses. Which means this is the contract between two guys, that is insurer and insuree. They are promising to committing in the same project. It is pre-decided the amount, how much amount they have to pay for the insurance. Pre-decided the calculation for how many years they have to pay. Pre-decided the compensation, what the claim amount they will get after the destruction. Then pre-decided amount of premium, in which way, in which installment they have to pay the premium for the event, and how they will supposed to get the claim of losses. Everything will pre-decided when they are agreed to committing this agreement, to intimating in the same project. Yes. Now the second point, insurance contract is in a written form is known as insurance policy. A contract is written agreement. Insurance contract is the written agreement, and this is called insurance policy. Now 2.1.2, that is principles. Some principles are there in the insurance. This is the introduction. The roots of insurance are connected with society, and it is an agreement between two parties. That means the root of insurance is connected with the society, and the parties are agreed to intimating in the same project, and this agreement is done between two parties. Second point. So insurance is not a simple or ordinary contract, and it cannot be related to law of contract. So we can say that insurance is not called a simple project or simple contract as an ordinary contract. We are not supposed to say this. Even We are not supposed to say that it cannot be related to the law of contract. We can't say that. The last para, it is a special form of contract and hence apart from law of contract, the following specific principles are also applicable. So, according to these principles, some of the situations are there. The following specific principles are also applicable according to the situation. This third paragraph you can come to know after looking at the diagram or the points. I am reflecting the points. Yes. So let's go. This is your diagram of principles or points. Principle of utmost good faith. Second, principle of indemnity. Third, principle of insurable interest. Fourth, principle of subrogation. We'll discuss this in detail. Again repeating, principle of utmost good faith, principle of indemnity, principle of insurable interest and principle of subrogation. Utmost good faith. Internal content. The main objective of an insurance contract cannot be of making profit. They are not making an profit. The basic law of insurance is a social concept. This is the social concept. Third point. It is only to have compensation for financial loss. This is just an compensation we are getting when we are facing any financial loss. Fourth point. As such, the parties involved in the insurance contract should have mutual and complete faith. Both the parties should involve in the insurance contract after the mutual concern and complete faith on each other. Last point, while entering into a contract, both the parties should provide all information regarding the insurance product. Both the parties have to provide the all detail regarding the insurance product. While taking an insurance policy, even if the information is not asked by either parties, both should provide it. If the insurer or insuree, they are not asking about any of the question, but you should reflect the faith, at most good faith. So over there you should give the all information regarding the insurance product. Then next para, any insurance agreement entered not having the necessary information about the fraud and it is against the principle of utmost good faith. That means if any insurance agreement entered, both the parties are agreed to enter into the contract and they are not providing the necessary information, that means this is a fraud and they are doing the fraud against the principle of utmost good faith. Then the third para, whenever it comes to be known that the principle of utmost good faith is broken, the insurance agreement of policy stands null and void. The insurance cannot get back the premium already paid and he loses the right of compensation for the risk. Suppose they are lying, the insuree are lying to insurer, at that situation they are doing against the principle of utmost good faith. So over there they are breaching up the contract, so they are not liable to get the premium which they have already paid and they are not supposed to get the compensation of loss and they are supposed to face the risk and the contract become a null or void. So the second point is principle of indemnity. What is meant by indemnity? It is a security or protection which you require against the loss. Now, internal content. Protection or security is equal to indemnity. Now the content. Insurance contract is made to compensate for the loss incurred by the insuree. So, the main object of insurance is the principle of indemnity. This principle is used to decide how much the insurance company will have to pay to the insuree in the event of loss incurred. Any person who takes an insurance policy can get only compensation for the loss and he cannot earn profit. In other words, he cannot get additional amount over and above the loss incurred. That means whatever they are facing the loss, that much amount only they will get. They are not supposed to get additional amount. Then it is not applicable to life insurance. The above statement is not applicable for life insurance. Then, if an insurer takes a policy for a product at a lower value than the original value, it is implied that he will proportionately get a lesser amount and a part of the loss will have to be borne by him. Didn't get this statement? Again repeating. But this statement I will let you know with the help of certain example. But repeating the statement, if an insurer takes a policy for a product at a lower value than the original value, it is implied that he will proportionately get a lesser amount and a part of the loss will have to be borne by him. For example, A example, if a person takes an insurance policy for rupees 3 lakh, but the original value of the product is rupees 5 lakh, then in the event of complete loss of the product, the insurer will get maximum rupees 3 lakh, because they have took the insurance of 3 lakh only and the product is for 5 lakh. But he has taken the policy of 3 lakh only. He have paid the premium of 3 lakh only. But after complete loss, if he destroyed the product completely, he is facing the loss of 5 lakh, but he will get the compensation of 3 lakh only because he has selected that insurance policy. Hope so you are getting this example. So let's switch the next example. So B example. Total 3 examples are there. A we have discussed. Here is the B1, that is proportionate insurance policy. Now, when the value of product is rupees 5 lakh, but the insurer has insured it only for rupees 3 lakh. They have asked about insurance policy only for 3 lakh. And if the product is partially damaged, which is estimated at rupees 2 lakh, they are facing the problem after damaging the product. They are facing the loss of only 2 lakh. But they have selected the proportionate method. So according to the same, the insurer will get only rupees 1,20,000 as compensation, as it is a proportionate amount of rupees 3 lakh, which is the insured amount. For 5 lakh, the product of rupees 5 lakh, he has taken the policy of 3 lakh. But the product damaged for rupees 2 lakh. So according to the proportionate method, the fully amount he will not get. 2 lakh rupees he will not get. He will get the proportionate amount of 2 lakh. That means 1,20,000 he will get as a compensation. So the proportionate amount of rupees 3 lakh is 1,20,000, and the rest of the 80,000 the company will not provide to him because he has selected the proportionate method. Let's see the third example. So the third example is when the value of product is rupees 5 lakh and it is insured for the full amount of rupees 5 lakh. Full amount of insurance he has selected. So in the event of complete damage to the product, the insurance company will pay the full amount of rupees 5 lakh to the insurer. That means in complete damage, if insurer is facing the complete loss, the insurance company will pay the full amount. So the first example we are supposed to discuss partial, second proportionate, and last third is complete loss. This is the 3 conditions in which we are supposed to accept the policy. Then the third point is principle of insurable interest. Principle of insurable interest. Content. The insurer must have financial interest in the product insured. The insurer must reflect the interest to take the policy. It's called principle of insurable interest. Example, the owner of the house has financial interest in the house while a tenant of the house does not have a financial interest. For example, I am the owner of the house, so I am going to take the insurance for my personal house. You are the tenant of my house. Are you supposed to show the interest for the insurance to take the insurance of the house? No, because you are not a owner. That means the principle of insurable interest is depend upon the owner's interest in place of product, whether they are interested to take the policy or not. Fourth point, principle of subrogation. This is the last topic for today's lecture because only 4 principles are there. Let's see the content. When a policy is taken for an insurable product and if it is fully damaged and when the insurance company pays compensation, the fully damaged producer's ownership will be with the insurance company. That means suppose you have taken the insurance for your car and you have done fully damage and you took the policy for the same. Fully paid up policy you have took. So over there the insurance company will pay you the full amount, but the damaged product, for the damaged product the ownership will be passed towards the insurance company because he has paid. So the damaged good will be handed over to the insurance company in place of compensation. Now this principle is not applicable in case of life insurance. Principle of subrogation, that means destroying of any product. So this principle is not applicable in the case of life insurance. Principle of subrogation is not applicable in life insurance. So children, for business services 1, today we have covered introduction of insurance, meaning of insurance and principle of insurance. Hope so you have understood the whole concept. Make sure maintain the notebook, write down the points. Have any doubt, we'll discuss in our regular session. Thank you for the day.